Carol's relentless and foolhardy pursuit of Alpha has left her, Daryl, and the rest of the company trapped in a subterranean cavern surrounded by the Horde. And now they're tasked with finding a way across a sea of walkers and somehow finding their way back up to the surface. It's an episode filled with adventure, drama, and would have been amazing if this was still the 1980s. Oh, and Negan gets a little jiggy with it. It's the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead. Season 10, Episode 9. Squeeze! Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to the return of The Walking Dead. So yes, of course, spoilers coming your way. And do want to remind you, as always, about our quick jump index system. Right in the description below, we're going to have this entire review titleized, time-stamped. You get tired of one section, you want to jump to the next, boom, instant click and you're there. Heck, you can watch the end of the review first, you can watch the beginning last, you can watch this review in any order you'd like. It's exciting, isn't it? Anyway, before we get to the review first, just a few small little announcements, just a couple of little things. It's been a while. Hi! How y'all doing? Happy New Year! 2020, man! The future is now! I hope you all have had a good holiday and the year is starting to go out well for you. I myself have been a little crazy. Lot of different things going on, a lot of different fires. It's one of the reasons why I don't have so many reviews coming up right now. But of course, I'm not going to leave Walking Dead in the middle of the season. No way am I going to do that. So, yeah, just wanted to say hi. Welcome you all back. It's glad to have you here. I'm glad to be jumping in, back doing reviews. And we're going to sort of mix things up a little bit. Like I said, I've had a lot of things and a lot of fires, a lot of stuff going on personally lately. And I know sometimes some of my reviews and feedback and stuff, it's been a little bit of wanting. You know, I haven't paid as much attention to that as I really want to. So I want to kind of get back into a little bit of fan service here. I want to start doing like fan questions. So what I'm going to do is starting at the end of every episode, you guys leave a couple of questions down in the comments. They can be about the show. They can be about cinema in general. That could be about me. It could be about anything you want. I'll try and pick out a couple of questions each week and do them at the end of the reviews. Kind of, you know, get a little bit of engagement going on. Also, Expanse fans, you know, guys, how much I like the Expanse. I've already done chats over with Mark over in Enchantment of Eternity. I'm going to do some more again this week, Wednesday evening, afternoon, evening, over on Smirking Gun Reviews with Rob. I think it's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central Time over on Rob's channel, Smirking Gun. If you guys like Expanse, want to dive back more, if you're just new into it, you just finished Season 4, we're going to do just a nice little Season 4 discussion. So if you guys can make it, it's going to be this Wednesday night. Like I said, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central over on Smirking Gun Reviews. I'll put out little Twitter notices and stuff for that when that comes up. So, fun stuff to look forward to. Alright, so for the episode itself, it wasn't a terrible episode. In fact, there was a lot of stuff in this episode I really liked. There were some really great moments, some great character moments. But I think part of what this is just maybe just sort of adjusting the expectations that we are having for the show. I mean, initially, Walking Dead, we felt was a very grounded, gritty approach towards the genre, where danger was around every corner and anybody could die at any moment. There really was that strong, visceral feel initially. But we're 10 seasons in. We've got a larger cast. There's a lot of storylines that are expected. There's a lot of characters and cast members that we really like, that we don't want to lose, especially in this particular group. So the danger's having to be a little pulled back, you know, is more focusing on character work, which is just a lot of dialogue versus deaths. But I think maybe, again, it's just through that lens, through the little different lens, this is a much more enjoyable show. I mean, this is why I said this would be a great episode if this was the 1980s. Because it's not like there was bad television in the 80s, but the drama was all a little scaled back. It was a little different. You had great storylines, but the danger was never really all that real. You always knew that they were going to get away from it. And everything was sort of added on, poured over with a heavy cheese of drama. Almost melodrama to that extent. And in that sense, this episode very, very much like that. Again, great moments, but not viscerally intense. For instance, the whole mid-season cliffhanger setup. This trapped, this cave surrounded by the whole horde of walkers. Oh my God, how are you going to get out? Expecting that this is going to be this. Are they going to have to cover themselves? They have to kill walkers and do the whole cover themselves with blood? Are they going to have to walk like the Whisperers? Are they going to have to find some other little thing? Oh, no, no, no. You just do a couple little island hops off of these tall rocks and you're all done. In 5 minutes, that whole dramatic moment was dispelled. And then we have for the drama. Really focusing a lot of moments between Carol and Daryl. And again, some really great character moments in with that. But yet Carol, for some reason, so much drama, so much over-the-top stuff. I mean, again, great scenes with the two of them were kind of connecting, and Daryl is like, man, I can't even trust you. I can't turn my back on you. What are you doing? And you have to talk to me. You've got to open up. I mean, there were some great bits where Carol's kind of connecting. These are great actors that have been working together for a long time. They can take these moments. And yet at the end, when everything sort of falls apart, the whole explosion in the cave, then you just have Carol just like, just get it to me, just tell me I did it, just hate me. It's so over the top. It just undercut the reality of things. And I think that's sort of, again, that's sort of what I'm going for. Even inter-character drama. We've got Magda all mad at Carol for dragging them down into this. But let's be honest, they dragged themselves into it. She ran in. They all followed, willy-nilly running into a dark cave. No one's slowing down to take a moment or pull out a flashlight. So they kind of follow, you know, some of that's on them too. But even within that, they're trying to do the danger. You've put everybody in danger. There is no danger. Nobody. It was what? When we saw Alpha at the beginning, it was like a 20-foot drop from way up where she was to down where the group is. Not like a slippery sliding slope like it looked at the end of at the mid-season fall. That's a serious drop. I'm surprised nobody was dead from that, impaled on a stalactite, or cracked skulls or broken limbs. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of blood, oh, I hurt myself. But not much. They try to get the drama with Kelly jumping over the rock and slipping, but we knew he was going to make it. Again, they get past the drama all very quick, and after that, it's just moving through caves. Intermittent drama, you know, they get through a tight section, the Whisperers attack, oh, okay, we fight them off, you know. Then we're getting through a tight little cave section. Oh my God, Jerry's gonna be trapped. Which would have been a great intense moment actually right there if for the promotional material we hadn't already seen Jerry outside. So it kind of undercut some of that, which was a shame because that really would have been dramatic. On the other hand, Aaron was barely squeezing through that. How could we have expected Jerry to get to? And what, he still had his equipment on? I thought he would have taken that all off before. Again, it was just, it's manufactured drama. It's almost there, but nobody's really hurt. In fact, only kind of gets through his shoes. He's not even really bit. Then when we have the whole collapse thing, yeah, then walkers suddenly pop up again at that point. The walkers don't threaten unless they're in a tight moment. And then we have Jerry there still holding everything up forever while Magda and Connie went back and forth and got Carol and Daryl and brought them back up. Hold there. And then Connie and Carol go, hold it forever. How long was Jerry holding that for? But still, everybody out, nobody dead. And don't give me the whole Connie and Magda thing. They're fine. Ridiculous running back in. So again, there are great moments in the episode. It's fun. But any sense of danger really isn't there. And maybe a little too much on the drama, on the melodrama. Just a little bit. Now, of course, the other storyline that we have following this episode is Negan over in the Whisperer camp. Pretty simple, kind of, again, a nice straightforward bits. Basically, Gamma's subterfuge is being exposed, and we have Negan. The interesting kind of thing with this here, I think, is Negan really continuing to play with looking back to where his position was, who he used to be as Negan, the leader of the Saviors, versus who he is now, part of his journey. And I think they're leaving little breadcrumbs here, I can speak, nicely in a way of bringing this up. Because when he comes up to Alpha initially, to say, hey, look out for Gamma, I think this is the thing, he does that great whole speech about how he used to be on top. You know, hey, you know, when you're on top, you got people loving and all around you, man, you're just going to eat that up. They're going to feed you shit. You're going to eat that shit all up. But it's still shit. You know, which is sort of perfect as Alpha's actually taking a dump there during that conversation. Yeah, there's great character moments. But it was just, again, this is a kind of interesting way of Negan reapproaching where he used to be and to seeing the perils of being on top and how you can be lulled into a sense of security. And in an obvious way here, warning Alpha about that. Hey, you're on top and everyone loves you, but that makes you vulnerable to being fed a lot of stuff that ain't really real. Then you get stabbed in the back and then you end up in Rick's prison for 10 years. So, you know, just look out for things. I kind of like that approach of dealing with it. And it came to a head perfectly. Let's be honest. It is our Scene of the Week for this week. And that is, and that's Negan getting a little jiggy with Alpha there. And again, it's not really just the sex, the whole crass reward sequence there. It's the beautiful kind of fall of Negan in the moments ahead of time. Because as Alpha's just like, eyes forward, walk up, we're dealing with sort of the breakdown of his character. You know, he's trying to talk, he's trying to do his thing, and she's just like being quiet. And then he's actually starting to admit, sorry, I'm uncomfortable in long silences. You can see how talking is how Negan manipulates people. It's how he adjusts the scenes. He can't just be there by himself. As he's on top, he can be quiet, fine. And then he can speak and be, you know, messing with people. When he's underneath it, when he's not in control, talking is how he's able to maneuver. And not being able to talk leaves him vulnerable. And that long little walk up the hill, again, just a very simple way of presenting that. And then when she's asking him to strip and he's starting to go back to who he was, I mean, it was such a great revelation of an honest look at himself. So I was somebody. I did things. I leaded people. I saved people. I mean, it's just a command of what he has done, his reason to be alive, that he has done things. And then to turn around and just have Alpha there completely stripped with still the mask on. You're a crass man, and I thought you'd like a crass reward. And then it takes him a whole minute to get on, and then when he does the questions, is this, you going to leave the mask on? Does my skin bother you? Strangely the opposite. It's just, it's so Negan right there. It's from a moment of total vulnerability to suddenly realizing he is back on top. I'm not talking sexual positions here. Dirty-minded people. It was just, again, it's just a great thing. It's a great breakdown of Negan because I think he is using this position to realize he could have ended all of this with realizing that it's not, you know, I've been in your position, I was on top, I saved people. And what wasn't said, what I think it's leaning to is, and what I realized, that it's not about me, it's about them. It's about saving people. What is it that Daryl says to Carol there? We don't kill for revenge, we kill for our future. And I think this is the lesson that Negan is leading, and that's what I'm certainly hoping. Because they're playing great revelations, great breakthroughs. There was such a wonderful path ahead of Negan. And could you imagine Negan as a good guy back with the group in a way much like Rick was as somebody that can do damage, can be ruthless, but chooses not to because they know the danger of that path. And I would love for this whole arc for Negan this season to be focusing on that. I think that would be amazing. And look, to be honest, Samantha Morton and Jeffrey Dean Morgan, two amazing actors going back and forth with each other. How could you not love that? All right, just a few small things. One, how long does a zombie torch last? Or a zombie arm as a torch last? That was so weird when he pulled that off and lit that up. And I was like, why are you... What? Why do you have a zombie torch? Everybody's got lanterns and flashlights. And then... See, it's weird because that was all like, what? Why are you doing that? First of all, how did you lit this up? How does a zombie arm burn? Is it flammable? I don't know. And then using the matches to find a way, you know, the breeze and which is the pathway, which is the right one that has, you know, an open path. I love that. But why waste the matches? Isn't that what you would have the torch for? He gets the torch and then he starts lighting matches. The two were very incongruous. You have a limited number of matches. You've got a torch. You don't use the torch for anything else at any point. I don't know. It was just an odd scene. I'm not really complaining. I'm just confused. Has Carol ever exhibited scenes of claustrophobia before? I can't recall. I mean, again, it's one of those little character bits. I love how she's freaking out and Daryl's just like, she's claustrophobic. She's like, I never told you I was claustrophobic. If I only knew the things that you told me, I wouldn't know shit. Again, great character bits, and that leads into really, again, that nice discussion between the two of them of kind of sort of opening up. But have we ever seen Carol being claustrophobic before? I'm kind of thinking that she might have been in tight places and not brought that up, but I don't know. Sometimes the show throws in personal character arcs that have never been exhibited before and are never reflected on again just for a dramatic moment. I'm hoping that that's not it. Would be much better, interesting character thing. But yeah, if any of you remember if Carol has or has not specifically had any claustrophobic tendencies or reactions, throw those down in the section below in the comment section. I would love to know. I'm going to have to rack my brain. Speaking of Carol, actually, what was up with the dynamite? I mean, I know they found the dynamite, and that's cool. It's the whole empty mine section and the whole new section of danger. That was cool. That was fine. But when they spot that they're above the horde, they're looking for the way out. Then all of a sudden, we have Carol climbing across these rocks to set up the dynamite. Then she falls, and then Daryl is suddenly right up above her. Give me your hand. Where did he come from? And if that shot was right up above, where was she crawling along the whole side? Just, again, unnecessary drama. Didn't need all of that. Also, take the dynamite with you. Once you all get out, get some there. There, then you go. Don't do it while people are still in. It's just crazy talk. And Jerry. Can't leave without talking about Jerry. I love Jerry! And I loved him in this episode. Certainly the size of squeezing through all those caves, they're just sort of an interesting bit of moments. I love where he squeezes through that bit. It's like, are you okay? It's like, sure, man, I'm just a 6'4" dude that has trouble squeezing into airplane bathrooms. Why wouldn't I be okay? I love Jerry. It's one of the best lines. But as I said, unfortunately, using him for that kind of drama, the walkers coming in, don't do that and then use his picture in your promotional material where we see him elsewhere, because you undercut all the danger that you're getting. And then it starts to look cheesy. What, he hasn't taken off his gear yet to squeeze through that tiny place, and their shoe is able to hold on, and then again, the whole collapse. How long was Jerry holding that thing up? It started to collapse. It fell. It started to collapse. Magda and Connie had to go back, get Carol and Daryl, drag them back up as they're getting out. Then they start to get out. Then Magda and Carol Magda and Connie then run back to fight off more walkers. No problem with the footwork in the exploding, shaking, crumbling cavern here. Well, guys, just get up and out. Don't make Jerry hold that for that long. He's a big guy, but it's just mean. I know Magda didn't have a great last moment there with Nico, and her kind of, she wants to get back to Nico there, and that's driving her kind of frenetic physicality. But I was wondering for a moment if she's on meth. Walker meth, did you find a hatch? Because, yeah, not sleeping, very active. That's very much sign of meth use. But again, 10 years in the apocalypse, probably not finding any of that, so it's most likely just concern, but the body language was odd. Kelly was kind of used as, like, the overly dramatic finisher through a lot of the scenes of this episode. The whole, you know, I can't jump across the rocks, and then, of course, she does the fall and is able to pick herself back up. Yeah, again, didn't think there was going to be any danger there. Freaking out inside the caves. Is it night yet? Is it day? I don't think you guys have been in there that long. You shouldn't be having to worry about that. And yes, I completely understand the loss of her sister and her freaking out or thinking that she might be lost, the big explosion, the caving in, and it's like screaming. And yeah, I get that response. I got that a lot more than Carol's overly dramatic response. But then Kelly kind of turns around and is just like, that explosion's going to bring everyone for 100 miles. No, it's not. It wasn't that big. But still, I get it. You don't want your back up against the mountain when you got walkers and whisperers coming out after you. Sure, totally understand. Did have an awesome fight scene when she pulled herself out. I love going after the feet there with the hammer and taking out the legs and the knees. Yeah, that's some good combat moves. Taking advantage of the small size and the quickness. I love that. But then that she was the first one to be like, we gotta get out of here before we're trapped. It's just, again, you're worried about your sister, but you're not the one that's trapped, but it's going to be the Carol's going to stay there. I don't know. I like Kelly. I like the character. I love the fact that they're using her, the actors' actual hearing loss and integrating that in with the storyline. I love those decisions. I just think that for this episode, she was just like, be dramatic. Add moments. Go big. That was her job this episode. And lastly, I want to hit back onto that line of Daryl's to Carol. We don't fight for revenge. We fight for our future. I have an odd feeling that that is going to be the through line theme of the back half of this season. As this is going to be the defining trait. It's going to be their new focal point. It's just one of those things, just noticed, as the show goes on, we do get these little hints, we get these little lines that attempt to imply the themes going forward. So I think we're going to get a lot of reflecting back onto that. It's not about revenge, it's about the future, which is why I was talking about the whole Negan thing. It's not about me, it's about them. Alright, so since we're back, no fan questions this week, so we'll just go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you, as always, for joining me with these reviews, for giving your feedback, sending your likes, hitting those buttons of notifications and subscribings and all those things. Really appreciate it. It's why I love to come back and do this episode after episode, and I love always hearing back what you guys are thinking. So thank you, as always, for joining me with these reviews. And do want to remind you that we will be talking about The Expanse Season 4 over on Smirking Gun Reviews. That's going to be this Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Central. Most likely. Those are the times that we've nailed down. If anything adjusts, I'll put something out in the comments. I'll put a little notification. Check out my Twitter feed, and you can get all that info. So, there we go. All right, so thank you again. Please be sure to hit that like button, hit the bell for notifications. You can just catch me on Twitter and Instagram, of course. That is at Darren Jakes. You're going to hit this button to subscribe. We're going to throw up a couple of past videos here for you to check out. And I'm going to go ahead and say, I'll see you next time. Thanks so much, y'all. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.